All right, appreciate everybody taking the time to be here. I think this is going to be our last one, if I'm not correct, before the holidays or before Christmas and New Year's. So I want to wish everybody happy holidays. It's a great time of years. Make sure you surround yourself with friends and family. I want to congratulate Chris, his staff, and his players. You know, Chris and I have a tremendous relationship, and we get to talk behind closed doors a lot. And there's been a lot that's gone into this season. They've handled some things tremendously well, and wish them a ton of success. Obviously on Friday, keep this thing rolling. It's just, again, it's pretty cool to be right to be able to witness it and talk about it and see it. It's really truly a remarkable time, and to be out, in the semifinals going for 6 is a pretty neat deal. So, with us, the time and the days haven't been any longer, obviously, but it has seemed, in a sense, as a long week. And as much as you want to right a wrong and get that bad taste out of your mouth, I think this group in particular, we needed this. We needed this time anyways to get back to some things that have made us successful, made this program, made this culture successful. And Friday, Saturday, Sunday in particular, we'll go at it again here this evening, have been very spirited practices, as you would expect. I think we've competed hard. We're starting to execute some things a little bit better, and I think that's the big challenge for this group, is to maintain that level of intensity and consistency, and bring that each and every day. I think we've shown that we're certainly capable of it. I think also we've shown that we're not capable at certain times. But I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Seems like you guys have played really well when you win, and kind of played really poorly when you lose. Is that kind of something where this is the teams that we're playing, or are you looking for consistency?
Oh, you're looking for consistency. And again, I even go back to some of our losses when we haven't played well. Now, those are good opponents, make no mistake. A Missouri State team, at their place, and they're coming off a tough loss, so they're locked in. But just the way we played in the first half wasn't us. And Xavier, again, top 7 team in the country at the time, very talented. Are they a better team than us? A lot of the times we play, absolutely. But is it 30 points? I'm not so sure. The Greensboro, the first half, we just weren't locked in. And I'll give UND credit, and they're a good team, and even a little bit better than when we actually got on the court and we saw some things. But so much of it is on us, and we knew we were crystal clear. You don't want it to go that way, but we knew we were going to experience some lumps along the way, and unfortunately, it's been 3 out of our last 4.
A couple of ways that your team can respond after a game like that. How have you seen them in practice the last couple of
games? Again, it's a great group. It really is, and not a bunch of angels, and we don't want a bunch of angels, but a bunch of guys that understand that some things have got to change. They've really we've ratcheted up the staff from accountability level, and again, like you'd expect from guys that you want in our culture, they've really welcomed that, they've embraced that, and are excited for new challenges.
Last week you talked about him needing to be more vocal as a senior leader, certainly led by example with his play against UND. Was he as vocal as you wanted him to be in that game?
Yeah, I don't necessarily say that I've come out and said that he needs to be more vocal in a sense. It's just more like he needs to understand who he is. He needs to understand who he is from the title of senior. Him and Carlin in particular, guys like AJ and Paul that have some veterans that are leaders, and absolutely, Dex comes up to my office the other day. I think it's Friday before. What do you need from me, Coach? And again, these are great kids. It's my job to put them in positions to be successful on the court and help them understand their roles on and off the court.
How's Paul doing physically? Shooting numbers aren't usually where they are. It seemed to be limping a little bit, maybe between stoppages of play, things like that. Is he all right?
Yeah, if you go back and watch the game, I think there was a synopsis right there. Actually, when Paul lands on that last 3, steps on my foot, tweaks the ankle a little bit. So, I'm as big a part of it as anybody, and that's just the way last Wednesday went. And but no, he's fine. I haven't heard a peep about it since it actually happened. And nobody's as competitive as Paul is. We've got a lot of competitors. Paul's right at the top, and I think he understands that the game's changed for him in the sense that who's guarding him and how he's being guarded, and there's no secret to life. There's no secret to winning games. You got to get in there and work hard, and I think our guys are really responded to that. You got to spend some time out of practice in the film room, doing all the little things that make you successful.
A week off last year, I think this might have been about the time where you inserted Kai into the starting lineup. Anything lineups wise, rotation wise, that you're looking to change or stay in the course so far?
Certainly, there's always things that you got to take a look at. What's going to put our team in best situations possible to be successful. And if you show up tomorrow night, we'll see where we're at with some different things.
Can you take a lot from last year's UC Davis game? Are they pretty similar to what happened a year ago?
I certainly think they do a tremendous. They're extremely well coached. And, they're a big, strong, physical team. They run their stuff with tremendous pace, and so we've got to learn from that. They also have different parts too. And they're a new team. We're a new team. But I expect a very, very competitive game. And we're going to talk to our guys about it. We've worked very hard this week, and we've done some things. We've ratcheted up some things, but that doesn't guarantee us anything. This is a UC Davis team that's very well coached, that's very hungry, and we need to be ready. It's not just because you work hard doesn't mean something's going to be handed to you. These other teams are working; they're preparing just the same, and we need to go out there and execute and compete for 40 minutes.
Kind of along those same lines, obviously you know that you get UND again on Friday, but all those things you mentioned on UC Davis, does that make it easier to keep the focus one game ahead and not let them look past that?
Yeah, I mean, as much as you've got that sour taste in your mouth, we still have a big, big game in a sense, tomorrow night, and we need to lock in and focus. And you hope that some of the things you learn from the UND game will make you better for the UC Davis game. You hope what you've done in practice the last 3 days will make you better for UC Davis and ultimately better for UND. But ultimately, at the very end of the day, like we talk about all the time, preparing us for Summit League play.
Until that Friday game, so we'll ask you now about that. You held Quinton Hooker in check. Obviously, he had 4 points, but everybody else seemed to step it up a little bit. How do you find the balance of keeping him under control and then controlling guys like Crandall and everybody else?
Again, I think as you dive into Hooker's stat line, he's 1 for 10 from the field, but he also has 9 assists. I think, Quinton's a good player. He goes out and gets 22 the other night against a very good defensive-minded UNI team. So he's a good player, and Crandall's the one that's really ratcheted up his play. Coming into those games, he hadn't been shooting well. He sticks that corner three and really got going again. So, Hooker's a preseason player of the year because he's a good player. He's not just a good scorer. He's a good basketball player, and they've got tremendous parts around them.
And stress, like if Paul has a tough shooting night or if AJ has a tough shooting night, that you can do some of those little things. Hooker was a really good example against UND, the way he distributed the ball. When the offense is struggled like that, do you have to kind of say, go after loose balls, get rebounds, a lot of those little things, you can find ways to win that way.
Absolutely, but you would hope, and again, it's a mindset, and it starts with me that if those shots are going in, if they're not going in, you still need to be doing those little things. And again, I think that's the staple of taking a good team from being a great team is being consistent in your energy, your attitude, your effort all the time. Shots going, shots not going. And as much as we want to talk about where we're at offensively, we've been challenged offensively at times, but we've won 54, 53. It goes back to our true identity, defending, rebounding, and taking care of the ball. If we do those things, those things will feed into who we are offensively. I truly believe it, but it also, we can tweak some things and do some things better as a staff too to put them in more positions to be successful.
Your impression so far of Tyson Waters? You mentioned earlier in the season that if you could just see a couple go down, he was already playing pretty good basketball, maybe not just shooting it well. What have you seen from him lately?
Yeah, I really think Tyson and I met, and he wanted to watch film. I said, no, we're not going to watch film. We're just going to talk here a couple things. Like, Tyson's got a bright future here once he understands that. But we also, talking to some of the staff members, you got a guy like Cameron Hunter, and he's like, man, Coach, one of our staff guys says, I'm starting to see some things from Cam. I think, well, we all need to have perspective here. These kids are 4- and 5-month-old freshmen, and they've got to go through some things. And I think Tyson's learning that if something's not working, okay, then the definition of insanity is repeating that same thing. Well, let's try this a little bit to start the game a little bit. And he's got great length, he's got great size, his attitude's tremendous. But once he continues to mature, in so many different ways too, I really feel he's got a bright future.